OpenAI has announced a new frontier model called O3. The previous version was called O1, but because the name O2 will conflict with trademark of the British telecom company named O2, OpenAI has opted for O3 instead. The benchmark results shared by OpenAI for O3 on programming, math, and logical reasoning seem super impressive. I was watching the Day 12 live stream that announced O3. I couldn't help but to feel this is it for us programmers. Also, I had no plans to make a YouTube video today, but given the importance of this announcement, I feel like I must. Here is the coding benchmark results for O3. On Sweetbench, we see a jump of 23% from 49% to 72%. This would put O3 as a state of the art. A Sweetbench is a collection of 2,294 bugs reported against open source projects. On Codeforce's O3 scores ELO of 2,727. This puts O3 at the top 175th on Codeforce's. For reference, the person at first place have score of 3,985. Sweetbench was published in October 2023. At the time, the top model was only able to solve 1.96% of Sweetbench. For math, OpenAI is reporting accuracy of 96.7% on AIME 2024 and 87.7% and GPQA Diamond. On Frontier Math, about 8% or 9% at first attempt, that is the solid blue line, and average of multiple attempts is 25.2, that is the light blue. The creator of Frontier Math, Tammy, posted on X saying that Frontier Math would stump many mathematicians. And Matthew posted that most people on Earth would score 0% even if given a full day to solve a single task from Frontier Math benchmark. Before we look at O3's performance and ARC benchmark, let's quickly review ARC benchmark. In ARC, each task has few examples to explain the rule of that task and a question to be answered based on the examples provided. By observing input 1 and its output, and by observing input 2 and its output, we can deduce that the task is to fill the missing corners with dark blue. So for this task, we need to observe test input and provide an output, as shown in this image. Here is another example from ARC dataset. In ARC, each task has different rules, and that is on purpose. That is because machine learning, also known as AI, need large amount of examples to learn a task. ARC is designed to be difficult for computers to solve but easy for a human to solve, but some might argue the easy for human part of it. ARC tasks have been curated over the years by ARC team, as each task needs to be a different puzzle. Here is O3's performance on ARC benchmark. Highlighted in purple, O3 has scored 73% on ARC semi-private questions when using low compute, meaning O3 attempted each task up to 6 times. Highlighted in green, O3 scores a whopping 88% on high compute, meaning O3 attempted each task up to 1,024 times. Here is the current leaderboard for ARC pub and semi-private dataset questions. For PubSet, there is a discrepancy for O3 score because on previous chart it was reported as 88%, but here it is reported 82.8%. Let's focus only on semi-private eval results, as the pub eval has answers on the internet. At the previous state of the art at second place scores 53.6%. Jeremy at second place uses Claude 3.5 to generate 500 Python code using 31 different prompts in an attempt to solve a single task. At third place, Mara gets 47.5% by fine-tuning Llama 3.2 8 billion and then changing the task examples to generate more examples, and then training the Llama 3.28b at test time to solve each task. O1 preview has scored 18%. That is a big jump from O1 preview to O3. Claude sits at 14% and GPT-4o at only 5%. For O3 to achieve 75.7%, without employing any special method specific to ARC, that is very impressive. But O3 improves 22.8% on Sweetbench on first attempt, as there is no light blue bar, and improves about 44.2% on Codeforces using n attempts. On AMI 2024, O3 has improved from 83.3 to 96.7%. Even the single attempt shows large improvements. But on GPQA Diamond, when ignoring the light blue, we see about 4% improvement compared to O1. Could there be a reason why O3 doesn't show a large improvement on science benchmark? Let's watch this short clip from OpenAI researcher Noam Brown about OpenAI model.
The way I think about it, there are some problems that we consider to be hard reasoning problems. And these are problems where verifying a good solution is easier than generating one. So examples of this include, for example, Sudoku puzzles. It's really easy to verify that you have a solution to a Sudoku puzzle. It's really hard to generate a solution to a Sudoku puzzle, and things like programming as well. There are examples where verification isn't much easier than generation. So one example is information retrieval. If I ask you what's the capital of Bhutan, I don't know. I could sit here for 3 years thinking about what the answer is, and it's not going. Does anybody actually know? Oh, really? Now, when a generator verifier gap exists, that is, generation is much harder than verification, and we have a good verifier, then we can spend more compute at inference time to achieve better performance. So I think that's maybe doesn't explain all of why O1 is so effective or what exactly is going on, but I think it gives some intuition about why this is possible and why we're seeing it now.
What I'm trying to say is that while O3's performance is amazing, but higher gains is likely domain specific like math and programming. Looking at O1's test time performance on right, the O3's performance should have been expected, as there is no sign of plateau. According to paper titled Scaling Laws with Board Games, instead of scaling training time 10x, we can scale test time compute 15x to get similar gains. Knowing that, now let's look at the amount of compute used by O3 to get such an impressive result on our benchmark. Focusing on semi-private, high-efficiency, low compute, O3 generated 33 million tokens, that is 0.33 million tokens per task, or 333,000 tokens per task. As each task could be attempted up to 6 times, we can say per attempt O3 generated 55k tokens. 55k token is around 41,000 words, and according to Google, 41,000 word is around 137 to 164 pages. And that is on low compute or high efficiency. And looking at the compute cost for 0.33 million tokens, if cost is $20, that comes to $60.60 per million tokens, which is the current cost of O1 on OpenAI's website. Here is the graph shared by OpenAI during their live stream of O3. The graph shows projected cost of O3 by O1's cost. On this graph, O1 is around 0.8 on x-axis and O3 is around 2.2. Given that O1 cost $60 per million tokens, on this scale 1 unit would be $75 and 2.2 units would cost about $165 per million tokens for O3. That is 2.75 times the cost of O1. Now, if we come back to the table shared by ARC team, if the cost per task on low compute is $20, then it is quite possible that the actual value might be $55 or $22 multiplied by 2.75. Knowing that for high compute the cost might actually be $55 multiplied by 172, which comes to $9,460 per task on high compute. The performance gained by scaling low compute 172 times is 11.8%. That is going from score of 75.7% to 87.5%. The total cost for low compute is reported $2,012, or it could be $5,533. For high compute, the total cost is either $346,000 or it could be $951,000. Even with the additional improvements and then applying another 172 times inference compute scaling, O3 failed to solve the simple logical puzzle. Here is another example puzzle that O3 failed to solve. Please pause if you want to solve it. Given the impressive performance gains by OpenAI's O3, one might think, does this make OpenAI one of the most important companies in the world? Despite all this, I don't think OpenAI has a moat yet. AI consumers are very quick to switch as new and improved models come out. And this applies to all foundation model companies. To avoid going bust, OpenAI either have to develop a new model that competitors are unable to replicate, or maybe develop a new sticky product. If OpenAI stops developing new models, they will quickly be left behind. On the other hand, improving model cost will likely keep increasing. Although the compute time scaling allows them to quickly improve models while offloading the compute cost to consumers. Is programming dead? While computer programming will continue, but being a computer programmer myself, it does pain me to say that. Most programming roles in the next 5 years or so will slowly start to disappear. And this impact likely will be more pronounced for small and medium-sized companies in unregulated sectors. And those left will likely have a hybrid role as a product manager and reviewing code generated by AI while also babysitting AI agents. It is kind of ironic that programming paved the way for AI, and now AI is on the cusp of cannibalizing the same sector. There might be some insight to find by observing how AI has impacted content writing in the past few years, as I think that domino has already fallen. Is there a silver lining for programmers? While AI might take jobs from developers, or you might say people using AI taking the jobs, either way, this does present programmers an opportunity to use AI and start their own products to compete in the market. Can O3 become Terminator's Skynet? While the chance for a new LLM becoming Skynet is non-zero, but can you imagine Skynet with extreme short-term memory loss? How can Skynet become dangerous if after each word it forgets completely what it was thinking about? That is how the current GPTs and LLMs work. After each word, they completely forget their train of thought, even the word that was generated. The risk comes from people or other entities misusing AI. Will O3 hallucinate? Given that hallucination is a visual thing, seeing things that are not there, maybe a more appropriate term is plausible fabrication or If you go to OpenAI's playground and select GPT-4o from top right, you get all these options to adjust like temperature, etc. If you change the model to O1 Preview or O1 Mini, all those options are gone. It is suspected that for O1 and O1 Mini, the temperature value is fixed to high, and setting a low value decreases performance. So it's a feature, not a bug. The temperature controls the model's output consistency, so at 0 for a given prompt, it would always return the same answer. And if set to very high value, the model will generate word salad. While the model can hallucinate at temperature 0, but the likelihood for hallucination increases at high temperature values. So for O1 and likely O3, we'll use high temperature values to generate diverse set of answers for the same prompt, and then it will search and select an answer that the model thinks is the best answer. And this method or runtime compute scaling is not new. It was developed by Google DeepMind for AlphaGo. And this feature is sold as reasoning model, while there is no general consensus among humans as to what is reasoning. But the same goes for phrase artificial intelligence. We know what is artificial, but jury is still out on definition of intelligence. My silly take on intelligence definition is that anything that has the capability to be impressed or intrigued. Or we can say it takes intelligence to recognize intelligence. So as these GPTs get more and more capable, there will be more job losses in software development. So who are the winners and losers? Losers would be software developers, and maybe a bad analogy for this would be how tractors replaced cows for plowing farming fields. As for the winners, I would say it would be field of mathematics, as this would allow us to solve more complex math problems. The same goes for the field of robotics, physics, chemistry, and biology. I suspect we will see an influx of more performant and more accurate physics, chemistry, and biology simulators, because the simulators would allow GPTs and other new machine learning models to experiment, verify, and learn from the simulators. A new impressive physics simulator was recently announced called Genesis. So expect for GPTs to get better in these fields in the coming years. Another set of winners could be computer hardware manufacturers that develop very high-performant AI compute chips like Grok chip or the upcoming Sohu chip. While this section is not related to announcement of O3, but something I wanted to mention. So all these GPTs are the result of a research that came out of Google in 2017 called Transformers. And there hasn't been a major breakthrough in machine learning since that I'm aware of. Although we have come a long way from GPT-2 to now O3 in the past 4 years or so, but the underlying system hasn't changed much. The transformers were originally developed to translate text from one language to another, but for these models to answer questions was a lucky incident. Sorry, I meant emergent property. As a result, we got these amazing tools to answer questions, write code, etc. But it could have been bad. Because these GPTs inherently neither have agency or goal, so they don't do anything on their own unless asked. That's where GPT agents come in. We give them goals and tools and agency to use those tools to achieve those goals. So GPT agents are the next chapter, and we will see how that plays out. While there are different definitions of AGI, let's go with the one where an AGI is an artificial system that's equal to humans in every way. Even then, it has to be cheaper than human labor, otherwise just hire a human, as there are 8 billion of us roaming the world. There are talks of ASI or artificial superintelligence. I think ASI can only happen if we can create a system that is superior than human in every cognitive way. Then it would be proof that an inferior intelligence can produce a superior intelligence. Because the theory behind ASI is that once we have AGI, it will keep improving itself, and that would lead to intelligence explosion and eventually to ASI. In my opinion, for someone or something to be able to improve something, it has to fully understand the system it is trying to improve. For example, if we have neural network A of size X, at the minimum we would require a neural network B of same or exponentially larger size to be able to fully understand neural network A. So there might be some constraints until humans create something superior than themselves. Till then it's just talk, just like this video. I hope you found the video interesting. Please consider supporting the channel, and you can do that by clicking the subscribe button. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.